This is breaking news.
Visa fee hikes and delays hinder international artists from touring the United States. New York AP. In New York City, spirited badge holders and independent music fans wove in and out of 150-person capacity clubs filled with groups from around the globe. A Japanese rock band opened for a German post-punk trio, followed by an alternative group from New Zealand. And that was just day one at the new Colossus Festival, held last week. The 6-day event takes its name from the poem cast on the Statue of Liberty, viewed as a welcome message for new immigrants. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. Now in its 6th year, 196 artists were scheduled to perform, more than half from outside the United States. But New Colossus may be an exception, not the rule, for international artists hoping to perform in the US. In the last few years, the process has grown much more arduous and expensive. It's already at the maximum level of difficulty that we can rationalize, said Misha Dempsey, frontperson for the thrilling Montreal band Knitting, who performed at New Colossus and described the process as labor-intensive. I can't even think about it getting worse. How did we get here? On April 1, 2024, the USCIS introduced a visa fee increase, raising the cost from $460 to over $1,615 per musician application, the first bump since 2016. According to the USCIS website, the increase allows the organization to recover our operating costs more fully and support timely processing of new applications. Nearly a year later, we are seeing the opposite, immigration attorney Gabriel Castro said. We are seeing cases actually slow down. The USCIS did not respond to an email from the AP. Visa processing time slow. Changes to the system have caused delays. According to Tamizdat, a non-profit that advocates for international artist mobility, all visa petitions are now filed through a centralized service center in Texas and are randomly divvied up to pre-existing California and Vermont service centers. The result has been slowed processing times. Matthew Covey, an immigration attorney and Tamizdat's executive director, says Vermont has gone from 1 month to 3. In California, it previously took 2 to 4 months, but now it's 8. Nobody's filing petitions long enough in advance to sustain an 8-month delay, says Covey. You got a 50/50 chance of it being done in a reasonable amount of time or having to pay an extra $2,800 to expedite it. Castro says small and mid-tier artists don't have the luxury of spending nearly $3,000 on expedited processing or booking tour dates 8 months in advance. And you have to have those tour dates before you apply for the visa, he adds. It's just more expensive than ever to try and do a tour in the US, and that's a problem, says Jen Jacobson, executive director at the Artist Rights Alliance. And I wouldn't say the fee change by itself has had the impact. It's a combination of inefficiencies and delays. Are international artists avoiding the US? The headlines are frequent. The K-pop group KARD cancelled its 2025 US tour due to visa issues. So did the Canadian metal band Respire. The up-and-coming Swedish rapper Blady delayed his 2024 tour for similar issues. In the film world, Iranian co-directors Hossein Mollaimi and Shirin Sohani took home an Oscar for their animated short, In the Shadow of the Cypress, after arriving in Los Angeles just hours before, due to visa delays. All international musicians require work authorization to perform in the US. There are scarce exemptions available to only a few, like the Visa Waiver program, which is often used at South by Southwest. The safest approach is always to get a visa, says Castro. Jacobson says, there's definitely a buzz about whether touring in the US is still a good economic option for these artists. I'm hearing more and more frequently from artists who are just like, I'm going to take a break from the US for a while. It's not a return on my investment. It's not worth it, says Covey. Who is most affected? Delays and fee increases disproportionately affect world music artists, jazz, indie bands who are developing, says Covey, as well as artists outside of Europe who have government support.